woman, our queen, if she breathes, she's a god!
Hey, welcome back to another episode of Making the Case. We're on episode 215, man. Glad to have you back. I'm your host, Dr. Jacob Isom. We got two channel norms over here. One, we attack points in our people. Then two, we don't do all that cussing and fussing and derogatory stuff. We like to keep it professional over here. Can you guess what we're talking about in this episode? Okay. Now, enough is enough. All right. We're talking about how all women feel like they're a queen, but only the king make queens and not the other way around. Okay. Now, let me break it down before we get into the meat of our argument. All right. So, whenever a man becomes king, right, and he has a woman, his woman becomes a what? His woman becomes a queen. All right. And she garnered the respect, the attention, the wealth, for being associated with the king, right? Now, let's take it to the flip side. For all the women who have been queens throughout history, right? And there have been some well-known, Queen Elizabeth, Queen Sheba, etc., right? Now, if she had a man, did that man become a king because she came queen? And if you don't know, the answer to that is no, he did not. Right? Kings make queens. Queens do not make kings. Now, why is that important to this conversation? Because men are the leaders. Men are the ones that make women powerful and relevant. I'm not saying women can't be relevant on their own, but you got to understand, women all the time talk about the patriarchy, right? Well, if you believe in the patriarchy, you understand that even a woman with power don't get that power unless men say so, right? Because we just got to keep it all the way on 100. Slavery wouldn't have get abolished if it wasn't for the white power structure. When it comes to the women's rights movement, it wouldn't be successful if it wasn't for men being involved in it, men saying, you know what? All right, we're going to give y'all rights. That's just how it always worked. I know you don't want to hear this, but please prove me wrong. Okay. So when we talking about the situation, and I was just engaged with somebody earlier, but unfortunately, when you're in your feelings about a topic, and this is the reason why it's hard to have conversations nowadays when it comes to race, gender, religion, politics, it's hard to have conversations because people are going to be in their feelings. They can't accept objective truth. They just can't. Even some of your most intelligent people, even some of your most trained people, people who are older, people who've been doing it for years, right? Everybody going to get in their feelings. Now, it is natural, but at the end of the day, logic got to take over at some point. All right. So the reason why men, or I should say women, want leaders is because they want to be in the passenger seat. I talked about passionate princess, I think on the last video, right? They want somebody to take the heat, take the bullet, right? Get wet so he can pull up the car so she can hop in, right? They want that naturally. So what does that mean? That means hierarchy. That means men are going to be in a power position. Okay? But we have this tug of war. So many women want to run around here calling themselves queens, right? But don't understand the power that comes with it. Don't understand the authority. And they ain't even attached to no man. So we're going to talk about it in this episode, okay? The king makes the queen, not the other way around. Let's get to our first clip.
I love me a dominant man. And other women do too. They just don't want to admit it. I'll tell you why. Let's get into it. Dominant men seem more confident, more sure of themselves. That's very attractive. They seem to be better providers. They make women feel safer. Oh, he got this. Someone that she could depend upon. Dominant men give you a sense of reassurance that you will be taken care of and that someone has your back, where you feel safe to feel weak because you have somebody strong. I think I find more women who have issues demonstrating respect for a man who isn't dominant. Now, dominant is not abusive. Dominant is a leadership quality, where the quality itself commands respect and has the ability to set firm boundaries, where you know not to play with him. Just like men want to be respected, women want to be with a man they respect. Why do I love me a dominant?
And although I agree with her, right? I want to make there's a caveat to this conversation, right? Because a lot of time we like to say dominant, and of course we live in a world of dualities, right? So if you say dominant, the opposite would be weak, right? But just because a man is not dominant, forceful, and assertive does not mean he's weak, right? All men, or even the most dominant men, are not going to dominate in every area, right? That's a lot of pressure to live up to. Okay. They're going to dominate in areas that they're comfortable with, that they've been trained on, that they see the most relevant to their lives. Right now, you could be a man that is not considered dominant, but is passive in some areas, but also assertive in other areas. Right. So the problem what we're having nowadays is we're allowing, and like I said, although she was very correct in many of the things she was saying, we allow women to tell men what a dominant man is. We'll allow women to tell men what a quote unquote real man is. And that is the problem. I think I addressed this on a past video, right? Women are not in a position to tell men what they can be, should be, or going to be. All right. And that's the problem. Too many women have entered male spaces and try to dictate terms. And that's another reason why things are kind of topsy-turvy nowadays, is because women are entering spaces where now they're starting to rewrite the rules. Let's get into our next video.
The I don't need you energy, because I know you're out here killing it in business.
Girl,
doing your
did
thing.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would have avoided that. Being single, being a boss, being not having to answer to anybody. I don't know how you could be anything other than that until you have to be. So I think it's the adjustment that people get on podcasts and criticize women for, but there has to be an adjustment.
Yes.
Whenever you are entering a new space, a new season, there's going to be an adjustment period.
For men that are dating successful women, do you have the patience? You don't have to compromise, oh, she's never going to follow my lead, but can you be patient with the process to grow, because growth takes time?
Can you work with her?
Yes.
And I think that's the question on both sides, is can we compromise?
Yes. So, have you ever had the I don't need you energy?
And unfortunately, once again, every time I see this conversation being had, it's always being had by Black women or Black men and women. And that's just the truth. Other communities are not having this conversation, which should let us know a lot of things, right? And I hate to say it, but it's just a reality, right? The fact that Black women feel like they can't be successful and be a woman is problematic. The fact that Black women feel like just because they're making money, they can't be submissive. The fact that Black women feel like that just because they have a little power, which inflates their ego, then now they got to give a man a headache. It's ridiculous, right? Which this goes to show you this is the reason why a woman can't get power and money and prestige and make it king. Right? It doesn't happen. But a man on the flip side, he can get that power and say, let's go. Let me show you how it's done. And part of the reason why is that she's not meant to lead. She's not meant to be considerate. Because let's just be honest with you, a lot of women think about themselves, right? She's not meant to be assertive. She's not meant to have these masculine qualities that a lot of women, unfortunately, black women, say they possess once they get into the corporate world or a business world and things of that nature, right? So a lot of women like to go on and brag about their success, but they ain't leading nobody, right? And I ain't talking about at your job, right? Because that's a position. I'm talking about in this real world. You're not leading anybody. Because you'd rather have the success and the money. Get into the next clip.
All the decisions for you, she'll slowly start to hate you because she'll feel like she has to raise you and she'll lose respect for you. So you're better. What we truly want is not a man that just is like chaotic. We just want a man who we can trust makes good decisions. He's not the nice guy. He's the one that we'll submit to. But the one that doesn't trust his own decision making and we have to do it and he comes across as being nice, essentially he's seen as weak. If you let a woman make all the decisions.
And that's just facts, right? And once again, it just goes to show you that women want masculine traits, right? They want a dominant man. They want a man that is assertive. They want a man that, hey, this is my decision, that has standards, that has boundaries, all right? This is a line that you're not going to cross. And if you cross it, then you're done, right? That's what women want, because women want to be put, quote unquote, in their place. And I put quotations around it, just to soften it up, right? Because quotation soften things. Let's just be real. That's what women want, right? How many times have you heard, oh, I want a man to put me in my feminine. I want a man to put me in my soft girl era. Even though she should be coming with that, right? But there's so many excuses to why women act manly. Because you're not acting masculine, you're acting manly. You acting outside of your femininity. Let's just call it what it is. You feel like that you have to be something else in order to be respected. Because if femininity was respected amongst your peers, amongst other women, then that's how you act. But no, you act manly because you think that's what's going to give you respect out here in the larger world. Which once again goes to show you that queens don't make kings. Kings make queens. Let's go to our final video.
Deeply want men who are competent and powerful. And I don't mean power in that they can exert tyrannical control over others. That's not power. That's just corruption. Power is competence. And why in the world would you not want a competent partner? Women deeply want.
And Jordan Peterson is on the money. And the reason why I wanted to end with this is because that same power and competency in a woman is not as attractive. But when women understand it's very attractive in a man, which is the reason why powerful and competent men typically are always associated with multiple women. We just got to be real, right? And if the flip would happen, a woman being so powerful and dominant and assertive where she had multiple men, that's never happened, right? Even though, of course, we've heard a story about Cleopatra having a harem of men and stuff like that. We've heard this, right? But it's not the norm. We're talking about the exception. Right. So what typically looks good on men doesn't look good on women, which is why the argument still stands is that powerful and successful men, like, they don't have to compromise their integrity in themselves as being a man. But women often find that they do because their standard all of a sudden just flips because they still have to have a person that is doing way better. Right. So if a woman is already a queen, it's going back to this mindset, right? She feel like, well, he has to at least be a king, right? I'm a queen. I don't date peasants. That is the mentality that's out here now. We just got to be real about it. Okay? So this whole king, queen stuff out there, it's destroying us. It's hurting us. Because so many people can call themselves a king and queen and don't display none of it. Don't have no power. Don't have no partner. Don't have no integrity. Don't have no morals. Got bad habits. The list goes on and on. But you're a queen, though. You're a king, though. It's killing us. It's ruining us. So let's just be human beings, flawed human beings that's working on ourselves daily, because that's who we are. Just the reality. All right. We're going to end the video on that, man. Hey, what do you think about it? Like, do you agree? King make queens and not queen make kings? Do you agree with the fact that us calling each other kings or queens is really just hurting us? Hey, let me know what you think in the comments, man. Hey, y'all know I appreciate y'all rocking with me. But as always, I'm you, you and me. Love always, love return. Remember, the worst thing you can do is lie to yourself, and we out. Deuces, one love.
I'm captain.